morning, my dear students. Welcome you all back to our social class. We are dealing with the Civics chapter, Working of Institutions. If you see, this working of institution, in this we have seen in the previous class about the differences between the political and the permanent executives. We saw about the Prime Minister, role of Prime Minister and his power. And we saw the cabinet ministry, how it is functioning. So who are called as the inner ring and how many members will be present in that, all those things we saw. And we also saw about the Ministry of State with independent charges. So they have and separate in charges which has been given to them, and the cabinet ministries and the cabinet ministries which works in the form of an team. And I told you that we'll see about the election procedure of President of India, and we'll see the power of President and limitations of President today. If you see, election procedure of the President of India. In India, the President is not directly elected. So, he is not directly elected by the people, all the members of the Parliament. Okay, that is MLAs or MPs. Can find a candidate stands for the post of president has to get majority of vote to win in the election. So they will be nominating few members as the president. So their names will be posted, or their names will be given in the parliament. So there they are supposed to secure majority of vote, and when they are winning, they will be ensured as the President of India. They can be seen as the representation of the entire nation, that is India. So this is how the election procedure of the President is. Okay, my dear students. So as we saw, President is not directly elected. They will have a list of members who will be nominated as the President candidate, and it will be discussed in the Parliament. And in the Parliament, the members majority of them should vote. Only then he will be considered as the President. After winning, he will be ensured as the President, and he will be considered as the representative of the entire nation. Now, we'll see the power of President. Before getting into the power of President, you see, Prime Minister is considered as the head of the government. So, he is considered as the head of the government, but the President is head of state. Why he is known as President, is known as head of state, is that you have in our political system, the head of the state will exercise the nominal power. So, he will exercise only the nominal power. Okay, he is not going to exercise any of the higher power or supreme power similar to Prime Minister. He will be having only a nominal power. President is just like a Queen of Britain. So, you might have heard Queen Britain, but she will not have any function. Only the representatives will have lot of power, who are being represented through the common people, right? So they will be used for the functional purposes. Functional purposes means you can find like functional related, like oath taking ceremonies or those kind of areas they will be used. Similarly, here you can find President exercise nominal power, and he is like a Queen of Britain who functions or to be large extents to the ceremonial. So it is only for the ceremonial purpose he will be utilized. And President has the right to supervise. So he is having the power to supervise all the functions. Okay, whatever the function that is happening in the political institution. In the Parliament, he can ask for, he can supervise, you can inquire, everything he can do. So that is the power of the President. And next thing if you see is that the President, as he is supervising, as he is considered as the head of the state, he can operate in an harmonious manner. So he can function in an harmonious manner without any problem or without any difficulties. Okay. And the president is, as we discussed already, is not elected directly by the people. He's been elected by the members of the parliament. So he's been elected by the members of the parliament, that is legislative and member of parliaments. They are going to do it. As I told you already, the candidate stands in the president post has to get majority of vote to ensure the president can be seen as an entire nation's representative. Okay. At the same time, the president can never claim the kind of direct, popular, mandatory from the prime minister also. He is just the person to function the nominal functions alone. Same. It is true that the power of the president is comparatively increased, but if you casually see that it is like the constitution says that the prime minister has the supreme power. All governmental activities will be taken place in the name of the president only. All laws, all the major activities which has been implemented from the government will take up in the name of the president only. Whenever a policy is being published, whenever anything is published, it will be in the name of the president. All the major appointments also will be done by the president. So this includes the appointment of president, like judges of Supreme Court. So this is small, just we'll see in detail. If you see, as I told you, all the function will be supervised by the president, and all the government activity takes place in the name of the president, and all the laws, major laws that are being passed also will be in the name of the president only. All major appointments made in the name of president only. So this includes further activities like the appointment of Chief Justice of India, the judgment of Supreme Court, High Court, judges of Supreme Court, High Courts are being appointed by the President, and governors of the state are also appointed by the President only, and even the election commissioner is appointed by the President, but the election commission is not answerable to the president after it is becoming an election commission. Okay. Then even ambassadors of other countries are also appointed by the president of India. So these are all the major power of the president. And also you can see all the international treaties and agreements are made in the name of the president only. If India, Pakistan go ahead with an treaty, there also it will be signed, it will be agreed with the name of the president only. So it will not be considered with the name of the prime minister. Okay. So president has been considered as the supreme commander of the defense force. So it's been the supreme commander of the defense force of India. So I think you would have understood the power of the president in a very clear manner. So next we will see what are the limitations of there for the president. So definitely as a president he also will have some kind of limitations. So president is the head of a state, not the head of the government. So he is being restricting the power that is limited to some, and therefore he exercises only the nominal power. He is going to have only nominal power, very meager powers only will be there in the hands of the president, and two, on the advice of the council. So when they are taking his nominal power also, he should consult with the council of ministers. So he should get the advice of the council of ministers. Only then you can find he will be implementing any kind of power. Okay. So president can ask the council of ministers to consider his advice. So consider its advice. So you can say, like, if any person has been imprisoned till death, in the imprisonment is done, means there when he writes a letter to the president will ask the council of ministers to consider its his advice. And if any discussion that is going on and if president advice is needed, they will take up, but in some advice it is given again. So in some places they are saying it is not accepted and he or she is bound to act according to it. So if any act, if the council of ministers says they are not going to give him the permission to leave the prison, then the president also will not allow them to go out of the prison. This is what will happen. If a person independently, president cannot act on anything, he has to go along with the council of ministers. So a bill passed by the parliament becomes a law only by the president gives his assent into it. But you can find there also there is a check which is there. If the president want, or he or she can delay this for some time, okay, send it back the bill to the parliament itself for the reconsideration. But if the parliament passes the bill, the president has to sign it. He cannot delay in signing it. Okay, even if it is delayed, it is not more than 14 days, it should be delayed. So even a law, bill means before the law which has been passed, it is called as the bill. So when the bill has been passed, you can find that the bill that is passed has to be discussed in the parliament. The lower house and the upper house will have a discussion. After the discussion is done, if they are satisfied, they will send it to the president for getting signed. And if he signs, it will be implemented in the form of a law. If he is not signing and if he is sending back for the reconsideration, and when reconsideration is done and they say it has to be passed, the parliament says that it has to be passed, means the president will not have any rejection. He should not do any kind of rejection towards it. He should sign it. So here itself it shows that the council of ministers is having comparatively more power than the president. Yes or no, my dear students? Yes. So this is the thing. Then we have been discussing about the appointment of President of India. So just a recap, you see, he or she appoints the Chief Justice of India. So the judges of Supreme Courts and High Courts are appointed by the appointed by the president. So these are the posting which has been appointed by the president of India. And similarly you can see that he also appoints the prime minister, but prime minister is no way responsible towards the president. Okay, so even the other ministers are there, no, they are also appointed. Their oath taking ceremony will happen. Okay, so when it is happening also, after that they are not responsible towards the president. Okay, they are under the direct head of the prime minister. Okay, so then you can see that here the other ministers of advisories who are all been there will be directly under the control of the prime minister. He is also appointing the governors of the state, and he appoints the election commission and the ambassadors. And president itself is appointed by the parliament, MLAs and MPs. Okay, so this is what is the appointment made by the president and how the president is appointed. So next we have very important things. So this is all is not there in your book, my dear students. I am giving you an elaborated view about this chapter. So when and how does the president exercise his discretion? So when he is going to have its own discretion, what is it? When a party or a coalition of a party gets a clear majority in the election, the president has to appoint the leader of the majority party on the coalition that enjoys the major support. So when the prime minister will be appointed when the party is winning, and if it is the parties and coalition form of government which has majority, for example DMK and ADMK is there. Now we'll go into the national parties. BJP and Congress is there. So Congress has got 300 votes out of 600, and if you see BJP has got more than that, than 300. What will happen? There won't be a possibility for them to select an independent person. But if it is lesser, for example, Congress has got 250 and the BJP has got more than that of like 300 or 3 something extra, then they will be BJP person only will be considered as the prime minister. And when no party or coalition gets majority, the Lok Sabha president will exercise the direct power. So when he will be exercising direct power means when there is an coalition form of government and no party is majority in winning, so that time president will have the direct power over there, and president appoints and leader who in his opinion can muster the major support in the Lok Sabha. That means he is appointing a person who will get most of the support from the Lok Sabha. Muster means bringing it together, the support. So who can bring them lot of support, they will be taken into consideration. So at that time the supreme power lies in the hands of the president. In some cases like when president can ask for a new appointment to the major to provide a majority in the Lok Sabha. So within a specific time. So you can ask for a change in the parliament itself. So that is another way through which you can find the president power is higher. So when coalition form of government is there you can find the majority power lies in the hands of the president only. President has the power to appoint the majority party person as the head of the prime minister. Okay, so that is the thing. So this is what is about the president, and we'll have a quick recap. So president is being considered as the head of the state and he is exercising the nominal power similar to the Queen Britain. Okay, and he is not having any excess power other than the used for ceremonial purposes. So president supervises, he is going to supervise all the functions of the political institution. So all the government activities will be taken in the name of the president only. So all the laws, all the decisions have been passed in the name of the prime minister only. So major appointments that are being done by the president is appointment of the prime minister, appointment of the chief justice of India, appointment of judges of supreme courts and the high court. Then the election commissioner is appointed and governors of the states are appointed by the president and ambassadors of other countries are also appointed by the president. So even all international treaties and agreements will be in the name of the president. The president experiencing the supreme commanding officers of the defense force. So he will be the head of the defense force also. And if you see, limitations means the power is being limited for the president as he is only the head of the state and he is not the head of the government. So he is exercising only the nominal power, and two, he will be functioning according to the advice of the Council of Ministers. President can ask the Council of Ministers to recognize or reconsider his advice when it is needed. If the same advice is given, then he has to take it again. So he is bound to act according to the Council of Ministers Act. So when a bill has been passed also, to make it into a law, president should follow the advice that has been provided from the Council of Ministers, that is the parliament, and he can delay the bill for only some time, and again when it comes he has to sign it. That is the limitations of the president. And what are the posters that have been appointed by the president? So he is appointing the Chief Justice of India, judges of Supreme Courts, High Courts, and he is also appointing the Prime Minister of the head and other advisory ministries and the governor of the states. He also appoints election commission and ambassadors of the other country. Then when his power will be superior. So when coalition form of government comes, so coalition party is there, and at that time you can find his majority, his decision will be made as an appointment of the majority party or the coalition government. Okay, so that is the one thing. The next thing is that when no party or the coalition gets majority in Lok Sabha, President has the right to exercise his own power. Then president appoints appoints a leader to have an opinion about mustering the major support of Lok Sabha. In such cases, like president can ask for a newly appointed prove his own person to prove his own majority. So he can ask him to prove his own majority in the Lok Sabha. So once it is done, he will continue or he will be excluded from the parliament. So this is what is about the role of the president. Remaining we'll see in the next class. Thank you, my dear students.